Sometimes I feel like a motherless child.
I think I'm so special and better than everyone else because I think I'm smarter. My opinion has to be the correct one, and I'm 100% sure of it. Just picture how narcissistic that is. Right now it's in full swing, but in 5 years, I hope it'll be gone. This side of me is my alter ego, and he's named Sneako.
You don't even know what that means! Wake up! They laugh at us! Ha ha! They can't stop me,
You said I'm a misogynist, anti-Semitic.
You need to talk about me for content. I feed your family.
The thing is, we all know this stuff too, but it's easier to stay ignorant than it is to be a truly good person.
Andrew Tate and his consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
Tonight on Piers Morgan Uncensored, one of the most infamous men in the world, Andrew Tate's misogynistic tirades have been viewed billions of times online. He's now been effectively banned, though, from the internet.
For about 3 months straight, controversial rhetoric was borderline inescapable, as all of social media became overrun by a bald millionaire with a weird accent. If you click this video, you're already well aware of who he is.
I'm gonna have to try and do this video without getting my massive cock all over the camera.
But we're not here to talk about the top G today. What I'm more interested in is exploring the online climate in a post-Tate world. While we may not hear much from the man himself these days, his ideas are more alive than ever. Resonating with millions of angry individuals, it's only natural to still be feeling the effects of the man's presence even months after he was forcibly exiled from every major platform. Despite being harshly criticized and mocked by some, Andrew Tate was and still is worshipped by countless others. His words resonating with too many people for them to be ignored. Some of the biggest talk shows and internet personalities on the planet echo similar sentiments and poison healthy discourse through the means of bad faith arguments and blatantly false information. It's an epidemic, and it didn't die out with Andrew Tate. He has always been replaceable. Andrew left a gap in the market that was prime for exploitation, and after his inevitable termination, it was only a matter of time before a worthy successor swooped in and took his place. An individual that just so happened to be a YouTube veteran himself. A man once revered by the biggest creators on the site for his impressive commentary and entertaining satirical bites, who has now been reduced to nothing more than a frustrated conspiracy theorist, shouting endlessly into the void on a platform only your racist uncle has heard of. Join me in documenting the insane 10-year roller coaster ride of the most brazen, polarizing man on all of YouTube, Sneako.
If I disappear, I'm passing the torch to you. Keep spreading the message. While it's still relevant to talk about Andrew Tate, I appreciate you showing this.
Tristan said he passed the torch to me. It's a lot of... Bro, We got this.
But first, I want to talk about our now 4-time sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. What more could you want in life than fitting a truly amazing AAA quality game right in your pocket? Explore millions of champion combinations and master countless tactics as you take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, campaign battles, PvP arena matches, and of course, the dreaded Doom Tower. In order to get to the top, you'll need an army of champions. With the bosses being so tough to beat, you'll need to build a strong enough team. The real fun is trying out different strategies and seeing what champion combinations are most effective. And for a limited time, you can sign up for their Trick or Treat promotion with your Raid Player ID, where players can win $1,000 Amazon gift cards and some of the best legendary Halloween champions in the whole game. Just download Raid with my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen now. Then head to trickortreat.plarium.com. Enter your details, then spin the wheel and get your prize. This special event runs October 15th to November 5th, and once it's over, so be fast. Plus, downloading is an easy way to help the channel. Massive thanks again to the wonderful folks over at Raid for being so supportive and making all of this possible.
Welcome back! Yo, chat, can I get a loser in the chat? Can I get some losers in the chat? We off the fucking strike. We got banned on Twitter and we still here. But we got a lot lot to get into, bro.
I didn't come across Sneako until this past summer, as I was researching my other favorite scam artist. I didn't know who this guy was, but I found plenty of videos of him reacting to Andrew Tate live on stream even before Tate blew up. And honestly, there was something about Sneako's personality that made him hard to just ignore and move on from. I definitely wasn't agreeing with him, but I could still see why people found him entertaining. At that point, he wasn't completely on the Tate bandwagon yet, but as I watched the Tate flame ignite over the next few weeks, I also watched Sneako go from being nuanced and authentic to instead worshipping the man's every last word.
You can love each other. You can be prepared to take a bullet for her. Yeah. And still fuck bitches.
That's what I'm saying.
Word. It's funny because it's true.
From there, Sneako would parrot all of Andrew Tate's worst rhetoric, becoming infamous for making inflammatory, sexist comments of his own.
You cannot provide anything other than pussy. That's all you got. You got a mouth, you got pussy, but that's it.
No woman wants to be in an equal relationship. Women are submissive. They're here to nurture and we're here to provide.
You know where women have the least rights? Saudi Arabia. They're doing pretty well. The more patriarchy, the more society kind of runs how it's supposed to run. I don't care. Give me more money for my pussy, whore.
And that's what turned me and many others away as his true intentions became clear. But Sneako's story starts way before this time, almost an entire decade in fact, when he first joined the platform on April 9th, 2013. Sneako's YouTube journey began a world apart from where he ended up, which is peddling anti-Semitic conspiracy theories alongside a domestic terrorist and burning every conceivable bridge while doing so.
What do you think about the Jews? They control all the money in the world. Are they behind the scenes on most of these issues?
Things were simpler in 2013. At first, his videos weren't totally unlike what any 14-year-old would be prone to making. Coming home from school, he'd sit down in front of a mic and speak his mind while playing Call of Duty. It wasn't anything earth-shattering, but it was how Sneako got his start.
Making a gameplay commentary video. Wow, what is this? 2014? Jesus Christ.
Sneako Kende Belinthazi was born on September 8th, 1998 in New York City. Spending a little bit of time in Brooklyn, he and his two siblings were raised in New Haven, Connecticut by two parents who are still together to this day, an achievement he's always held to high regard.
My parents are still together. Almost nobody I know is like that. They've been married for 30 years. My dad has been fully committed to being a dad, and he was like that support that I think a lot of people don't have that really made me successful.
Growing up in a pretty diverse environment, Sneako described his situation as fairly middle class. Having poor and rich friends alike, he attended private school his entire academic career, never setting foot in public school a day in his life. According to him, it took a while to realize how much of an outcast he was.
And it took me a long time to realize that I was an outsider. I didn't fully understand why I didn't fit in until I was like going through puberty and like they think I'm different.
Sneako is of half Filipino, quarter Haitian, quarter white descent, and has frequently described how his identity has shaped his circumstances, attributing his place in school and many scholarships to his racial status.
What kind of scholarships? Were these like grades or?
No, they weren't grades. I think that there were minority scholarships. I could tick off a lot of boxes because I'm very mixed, so it's like the minority quota. I check off like 17 boxes at once.
Were you good at school? Like, did you enjoy it?
I would say it was like up until like 8th grade, I was one of the smarter kids. I cheated on my SAT. I cheated on every standardized test. I cheated on all my homework.
To Sneako, nothing has ever been more important than crafting his own path towards success.
Do you genuinely kind of feel proud that you cheated your way through
I feel proud.
School after grade 8?
I think it's dope. I like finessing. I think that's interesting. I do my own thing. I don't work a job. I just got my own thing going on. It makes me, I guess I feel a sense of pride that like, yo, I didn't f the system. I did what I want. I did it my own way.
A mentality that led him to drop out of college and pursue his own unorthodox ways of making money, whether that was professional modeling or putting his free time towards making videos. It's not like YouTube had failed him yet. Sneako got his first AdSense check back when he was still very young, buying a pillow chair and taking great pride in getting himself there on his own.
I remember getting my first YouTube AdSense check when I was like 14, and I bought this pillow that I could put up against my wall, like a pillow that you could lean up on like this. And I remember every day, like coming back from school and leaning on this, like, yo, I bought this with YouTube money. I paid for this from Call of Duty videos. I was so proud of that. This one item, I made that from talking to a camera playing Call of Duty. That took so much, but I thought that was successful.
With YouTube, Sneako had an outlet to be himself. And although he didn't become a clout juggernaut until years down the road, his passion to keep moving was always there. Just the possibility that he could continue to expand his empire and positively affect those around him was enough to drive him forward on his creative ventures, or in his own words, seek truth through funny.
Holy shit, everyone, it's me, I'm here. What do people think of you? This is what we live for. It isn't how can I make myself better, it's if I go hiking this weekend, how many Instagram likes can I get if I take a selfie next to a tree?
In November 2015, Sneako uploaded what would become his first viral video, How People View You. A 3-minute monologue where he attempts to explain why people perceive us the way they do, cutting back and forth between haircuts to make a point that we as individuals have more power to control what other people think of us than we may care to admit.
Our image is everything, and if you pay attention, you'll see the lengths people go to maintain this. Virtually everything you do is in anticipation of how someone else is gonna react. When I have a buzz cut, I want people to think I'm a big tough guy, you know, big tough guy. When I got the quarter black, half Asian fro going on, I want you to think that maybe I go to museums or something. I don't know though. Should I post this? Maybe people are gonna think I'm a tryhard.
In all fairness, it was a pretty sharp video, if not for just how purely unique it was. Seeing such brutally honest self-awareness from a guy as young as him is what drove Sneako to a couple thousand subs, his first taste of real attention. From that point on, Sneako would graduate from traditional gameplay commentary videos covering issues from feminism to BLM to the 2016 election, not what you'd expect from your average 16-year-old YouTuber.
People are like, oh, you're not a feminist? Feminism is for equality for both genders, so why isn't it called humanism?
Plus, it helped back then that any ill-informed opinion he had could be easily chalked up to a kid who had yet to experience much of the world. His opinions weren't always great, but they were still forming. He had some growing to do, but that didn't stop plenty of fans or fellow influencers from taking notice of his creative side. Sneako's notable editing style is what got so many people in the door, and openly sharing his personal perspectives was what got them to stay. One of his then fans being
Mr. Beast.
How's it going, man?
Hi, my name's Hugh Montgomery. I'm with the IRS.
Fuck.
Do you have a couple of minutes, sir?
No, I don't.
who not only named Sneako as one of his favorite YouTubers, but had been there with him since the two were in middle school.
I've been doing YouTube for a long time, so like when I first started doing Call of Duty videos and stuff like that, like we had known each other from comment sections when I was 14, 15.
In a way, Sneako has always had an urge to compare himself to Jimmy. They started at the same place at around the same time, making the exact same COD videos. Mr. Beast was always the first to leave a comment under Sneako's vids, but today, he's the one with 100 million subscribers.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good idea to be comparing yourself to the guy with 800 million subs.
It is because we started at the same point. It's very comparable.
You started as his intern.
No, I started off, I was making Call of Duty commentaries, and he was like, first in the comment section.
While he's always shown appreciation for what Jimmy taught him, it's hard to imagine there isn't any jealousy at play, especially when Sneako himself has admitted to wanting to be Mr. Beast.
I didn't want to be the guy in Mr. Beast videos. I wanted to be Mr. Beast.
In fact, that's one reason an internship Jimmy had given him fell apart in summer 2018, helping out with one video before deciding the title of Mr. Beast's friend wasn't for him. He was fired and made a video exposing Mr. Beast shortly after. One that he deleted in a matter of minutes, but served as the final nail in the coffin for Sneako and Jimmy's friendship, going down two polar opposite paths as Sneako continued building his humble following until finally striking gold.
Do you think marriage is for nerds?
No.
Oh no, I would love to be married. Marriage is definitely for nerds.
I'm gay and unmarried.
Do you think that men and women are created equal?
Yes and no.
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 I'm gonna have to like not answer that.
Street interviews quickly became a pillar of Sneako's main channel. Sneako was already known for covering divisive subjects, but this was the first time he ever brought strangers into the discussion. And as it turned out, people enjoyed hearing what the everyman on the street had to say about whatever issue plagued Sneako's mind that day.
You're more attractive when you have money?
No, not necessarily. I've been dead broke and managed to get it on, you know.
I haven't, but
I can do almost a lot of things as a man can do. I mean, if I work out enough in the gym and I build my muscle, I'm sure I can pull up and do stuff that a man could do.
I really like your perspective. I haven't heard someone talk like that all day. Yeah, well, thank you.
surpassing well over 500,000 subscribers before 2020 thanks to his series he dubbed the 1 Minute Podcast. The format was pretty straightforward. Sneako set up a booth on the subway and spent 60 seconds interviewing random passerbys on hot button issues, asking questions like, do you trust the government? What do you think is the root of all evil? And are trans people real?
What's up? Welcome back. We're in West 4th Street Station once again, and I'm asking people about the they, them pronouns, about gender, trans, all that stuff. Would you date a trans person?
What?
This is personally where I find Sneako a little difficult to watch. I don't think all of these topics can be appropriately covered in such a brief interview. Like, condensing a conversation on trans issues down to a 60-second interval where you don't really push back against incorrect or bigoted ideas is pretty dismissive and insensitive to the trans experience.
They and them is bullshit, bro. Because chromosomes, we all got chromosomes, right? For a reason, right? How you just gonna be a they and them? What is that?
That's the two genders at once.
How is that possible?
I don't know. They say that.
Who's they?
It isn't really the productive, deep conversation you're pretending it is. Especially when you keep making annoying jokes that fly over people's heads.
I'm from Switzerland. I think it was 1971 that they introduced voting for women. So that was
last good year.
Like equal to cattle, basically. Just cows.
The good old days.
But the fans, on the other hand, enjoyed getting such an up-close and personal look at what the average New Yorker thought about these things. The appeal came from how raw it was. Even when people were speaking nonsense, it still made for good enough entertainment in the eyes of Sneako's audience, which ballooned to over 700k subscribers during that year. For a while, Sneako enjoyed the freedom of sharing his mind, speaking with strangers on the street, and letting his fans in on the more personal details of his life. That is until things got weird.
Tyra said, what did she want from the relationship that you couldn't give her? If you're gone for like more than 3 weeks, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's time to, you know, I want
3 weeks though. Come on, man.
3 weeks is a long time. 3 weeks is a long time to not see anybody. Like, that's a long time.
In early 2021, Sneako announced that he and his girlfriend had broken up after he cheated on her while the two were long distance. In the 11-minute video, Sneako interviews her over FaceTime to discuss the traumatic events he put her through. And in retrospect, it definitely feels like I shouldn't be seeing this.
3 weeks is a long time. 3 weeks is a long time to not see anybody. Like, that's a long time.
Bruh. I give you like at least like 2 months, 3 months even.
2 months?
Sneako was airing the very personal details of a relationship that probably should have just stayed between the two of them, especially considering how divided the comments were. Many fans thought this was Sneako crossing a line, further exploiting the pain he instigated. Some writing, he put more effort into the editing of this video than the relationship. Sneako cheated during a pandemic. That means you had to go way out of your way. And most tellingly, this channel feels like a movie where I hate the main character right now. The truth was, Sneako's content had been taking a nosedive for quite some time, pushing some of his longtime fans away with titles like these. Whether or not designed out of some kind of ulterior artistic vision, not all of Sneako's fans were having it, with one line of criticism coming from none other than D'Angelo Wallace. While maybe in the form of a short comment left over on his breakup video, these 4 words from D'Angelo Wallace would resonate with Sneako in a huge way, as evident by his next upload, forcing myself to watch D'Angelo Wallace, the impetus for a one-sided beef that still looks pretty pathetic to this day.
We're gonna watch this video, Influencer 19. It's an hour and 10 minutes. I only saw like 10 minutes, I was skipping around and I was getting mad.
You don't have any redeeming qualities.
Not only at his braces and the fact that he looks like a TikTok Lil Tecca. My ops are moving crazy. I don't know if you heard of him. His name is D'Angelo Wallace. I'm not even one starting this beef. Got top comment saying he belongs to the streets. I don't know you. You don't know me. And you're judging me, calling me a thought.
See, Sneako decided to take the completely mature approach of responding to a single comment with a 20-minute reaction to D'Angelo's then recent video, Influencer 19. If you've seen it, you'll know D'Angelo looks at an ensemble of YouTubers and TikTok stars who broke COVID-19 restrictions and were just generally irresponsible in the wake of the pandemic. Even today, it's a pretty sufficient time capsule into how the internet collectively responded to what was going on 2 years ago. Sneako, though, uses this video as an opportunity to hit back at D'Angelo for the comment he left on his previous video, which to me already makes this exchange seem lopsided. You can't respond to a video that had nothing to do with the reason you're upset and not look insecure and desperate in the process. But that's exactly what ended up happening, as Sneako failed to address even the most basic points made by D'Angelo, instead opting to make fun of his looks and repeat everything he said in a condescending, mocking tone of voice.
Very clearly outlined Los Angeles guidelines that said,
Los Angeles County guidelines? Los Angeles County guidelines. We're in the middle of a pandemic. His voice, his face. Wait, I wouldn't want to punch this guy in the face. There's no part of me that wants to do that.
Making the same joke 6 times within the first 3 minutes.
Doesn't that remind you of the kids in high school that were in student council? They'd be the type to like tell the teacher when you were late for morning meeting. I know you sat with the teachers at lunch. Remember when you had to run the mile back in middle school? I'm not gonna run and get my suit sweaty. He would raise his hand like, does anyone know the binomial? Yes, I would volunteer. Okay, so in my homework, I wrote about
before launching into some kind of bizarre tangent about different types of gay people.
if your favorite influencers are at huge house parties during a pandemic.
It's funny that he's shouting out just the white version of him. Just another gay nerd with glasses who's probably talks the same way and snitches on people. These are the worst type of gay guys. Can we talk about that? There's a lot of like cool ass gay guy. The gay guys who be in the gym with the tank top and the mesh shirt, those guys are chill as fuck. They host great parties. These are the gay people who don't know how to sing. They don't know how to dance. They weren't good enough to get invited to the musical theater performances. So they end up just snitching and just whining for the rest of their life. And they probably get fat by the time they're 28. They don't have good sex. They probably just finger each other. I doubt they even use dildos. I doubt they get freaky with it. Put your finger up an ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, be a good gay guy if you're gonna be gay.
I don't even think D'Angelo has ever stated his sexuality. I mean, what is this? In the rare instances where he actually does acknowledge what D'Angelo is saying, Sneako fails to accurately assess and argue against any of his points. Writing D'Angelo off is just jealous for not being invited to any of these parties.
You just sound mad that you weren't invited. You idolize celebrities, you're really involved in the Kardashians' life, and it's more fun to trash them on Twitter than to admit that you're a fan.
But what more can you expect from a guy who blames old people for giving themselves the virus and commands an unemployed mother to, quote, get her money up?
Losing pay, dealing with unemployment, missing government checks, new childcare responsibilities.
That girl whining right here, like, you're broke, wham, you're broke. Get your money up. Why are you complaining about how broke you are and exposing, I can't pay for my kids and I can't pay for my granddaughter? Why are you telling me? Get your money up and stop bitching about it. If your grandparents were at risk, like, why don't they just stay the fuck home? They shouldn't be on the goddamn plane.
Doesn't make me suddenly okay now that they're still here. That deep cut that my dad might not have parents anymore, I still felt it. So regardless of whether or not people are literally dropping dead from COVID-19.
This video is so full of Sneako flying off the handle and making dog shit rebuttals that to sit here and debunk everything would take way too long. If you want more of a step-by-step breakdown of how bad this response really is, I'd suggest you watch Kunkin Dassner's video linked down below. All you need to know for now though is that the cracks were beginning to form in Sneako's image.
D'Angelo, I think you're a jealous, hating rat. Let's get in the ring. Weave. Yeah. You wanna box me, bro? Let's do a 1v1 boxing match. You say I belong to the streets. Yeah, I belong to the streets. We could rock this out on the streets and we could do it in the ring, bro. Let's box.
Here was this insecure man-child lashing out against another YouTuber who committed the cardinal sin of leaving a single comment on a video. The most ironic part was that D'Angelo never even responded, leaving Sneako to look like the biggest idiot on the planet when his annoying attacks were met with radio silence. But at least we know he learned nothing about this dispute, judging how he had this to say a year after D'Angelo's hiatus.
My anxiety peaked. There's no special way for me to put this.
My anxiety!
I wasn't able to do my job because my anxiety. I should say, I've deliberately not gone into detail about my mental health problem.
My mental health!
But the truth is, I have really severe anxiety and depression.
Oh yeah?
And it often leads to suicidal ideation.
Oh no. Yeah. Maybe you stop thinking about that shit, right? Your life's easy. Comparatively, He's looking for attention, right? I mean, it is what it is.
I'm sorry to say this weird, one-sided feud wasn't an outlier in Sneako's pattern of behavior. In fact, it was only the first of many dominoes to fall over the course of the next year, with things really heating up in 2022.
I'm telling you, you know everything they fucking believe, bro. This is my private square. You cannot bring me here. That's the mark of a bot. I'm an LGBTQ supporter, and I'm true, bro. I'm inclusive. Love everybody. Fuck you. Get over TikTok. Get over Instagram and make money on it. Why are you scrolling? You're so stupid.
Yeah, Sneako's live streaming career was a trip.
What is Brett Cooper's type?
Lots of quizzes, because that's basically what I do at home on my couch with my dogs.
Starting around the beginning of the year, Sneako's content went from art house style vlogs and interviews on the New York subway to holding himself up in his apartment and screaming until his lungs collapsed. Of course, the timing was extremely convenient too. Having just gotten out of another relationship, Sneako had plenty of time on his hands to gather videos worthy of his on-stream reaction. Coinciding around the rise of Andrew Tate, it didn't take long for Sneako to develop a liking to the top G. Seeing a bit of himself in Tate, Sneako clung onto nearly every syllable that spilled out of this man's mouth, reacting to his most viral moments over on his second channel, Sneako, which would serve as the home of his VODs and stream highlights. His name gaining over 1 billion views on TikTok, Sneako quickly realized how outrage and controversy made for the most viral, profitable moments, something he would use to his advantage as his content grew more aggressive.
Men objectify women. That's the point of going out, and women live in a lie. We go out so that women can look like objects, and then we give them attention. That's what it is. And you're like, but women are queens and should be looked at for their personality. No, you need to be a woman needs to be an object of beauty, you fucking idiot. This is evolution. This is basic biology. Your liberal bullshit is not going to forward the human race. It's going to make men into pussies, and it's going to make women stronger.
Instead of making the original creative content people loved over on his main channel, Sneako started reacting to videos made by other YouTubers, some of which criticizing Andrew Tate as more harmless left-wing creators served as particularly easy targets for Sneako and his rabid, increasingly right-wing fan base. Left-leaning personalities like Noah Samson, Anna Marie Forcino, and even Curtis Connor were all the polar opposites of Sneako, who saw these individuals as fresh content and would tear into them to an unnecessary extent.
Just look at her. This dude is 28 years old. This is what they want you to become. Oh, Free Willy. Like, she's overweight, and she's a white girl, and she's Gen Z. I'm not telling you to judge anyone by their appearance, but like, you know what she thinks. He got a mullet and a mustache, and still, like, my 8% female audience is still saying, he's fine, but he's not funny. Bro, this is a fucking nose ring. You got the same Soy Boy goggles on, and a trucker mullet, and this weird stash. That's what makes you fine? You look goofy. Every day them in Brooklyn looks like this.
Cover my drink.
He doesn't care, bro. Nobody wants you. Look at your fat head. Look how fat your head is. That headphones indent it. But chat, we have to be better than them. I'm living good because I show love. I put love out there, and I really, honestly, I focus too much energy on the haters, because the amount of love in here is the reason any of this is possible.
As we saw with the D'Angelo situation, Sneako has never been the best at forming arguments. Why craft out a coherent, intelligent response to what someone said when you can just call them boring, or say their video is too long? Both pretty ironic defenses coming from this guy.
These people are just genuine bots. Bots. Anyone who's in a mall is a bot. You're a bot. Bots. Bots. You're a bot. Bots. I became a bot.
Sneako developed a tendency to take personal jabs at whoever landed in his crosshairs, going after the physical appearances of virtually everyone he covered, a strategy that would become Sneako's forte, as he continued uploading videos like why 2s think they're 10s, and why ugly girls think they're beautiful.
And look at those lashes, bro. Does that not look like something? This is why we need to body shame more. Look, bro. Come. Go. She thinks she's valuable. And you're a 3. Bitch. You're a fucking 3. She's the fat one.
It's clear he had nothing else to offer besides making unfunny middle school jokes and unnecessarily punching down on oppressed groups.
Who's doing these like unprovoked violent attacks on Asians? What race? Have you been paying attention? Have you looked at the statistics? Have you seen? I've been looking at all these videos since it happened. Like, and I've seen, it's been
You think it's black people?
It's only black people. Uncomfortable truth. Black people are more violent than white people.
But it's not like he wasn't incentivized to do so. As we saw with Tate, this kind of reactionary content sells, especially a few months ago when the Tate brothers were seen as rebels against a status quo that had become too woke.
All the wokeness that's been infecting in these movies. Can't you tell, like all the trans movies, they're trying to put an agenda in everything we watch. Can't you feel it?
Sneako was expressing a frustration felt by millions. And although he wasn't saying anything particularly smart or profound,
this guy's a misogynist. You're toxic and problematic.
He was speaking to widespread anger. His content became highly emotional, making for some pretty embarrassing and disgusting on-stream moments. And yes, there's a trigger warning here for SA.
What the fuck you think her political opinions are? Take one look at her fucking goofy ass bangs and the septum piercing. She believes in astrology. This is what I'm saying, man. Y'all are predictable.
Raycon.com/ChadChad for 15% off of your purchase. Thank you to Raycon for sponsoring today, and let's get back to the video.
Sometime towards the end of the summer, as Sneako was moving a million miles a minute with the reaction content, he decided to react to a video made by fellow YouTuber Chad. In his typical thoughtful, analytical fashion, Sneako spent the majority of this stream mocking Chad for her looks and discrediting her words on the basis of her being a woman, up until a certain point where he does this.
Would. And you know this is true, what's so predictable? You could tell by the way she's talking that she hasn't been properly in a long time. It's been a while. So she's on the internet making this garbage video, promoting all this feminist garbage to your fucking lonely girls in the comment section. What you really need, Chad, is some yeah, shut up with your feminism. Yeah, come here. That's what you need. And she's gonna go, that's what you need. You need some sense back into you.
Bizarrely suggesting Chad hasn't had sex in a while, Sneako goes on to hump the air and act out what appears to be him having rough sex with her. Now, no one on the internet signs up to be talked about this way, and in my mind, Sneako's gross comments can be summed up as nothing short of harassment. As many former fans would agree, the clip was sickening, and no level of defense from Sneako after the fact could possibly excuse it.
Apparently that's assault, which I think is kink shaming, and that's how I like to get down. If you think that's assault, then you kink shaming me. When I'm fucking a bitch, yeah, come here, consensually, obviously. I wasn't saying I wanted to do it with Chad. I don't give a fuck about that hoe. I don't want to touch her. I don't want you near me. I'm saying she needs that. She needs somebody to be like, yeah, shut up. Shut up. You don't know how to fuck a bitch.
It's interesting that in this scenario, he defends his unwanted sexual advancements as consensual in a hypothetical world, but when it comes to another YouTuber, Brandon Buckingham, passively joking about having sex with Sneako's girlfriend, it becomes a rape threat.
And he said, I'm gonna R-word your girlfriend, bro. Bro literally said, I'm gonna R-word your girlfriend.
See, Sneako weaponizes certain issues and uses various talking points to his advantage only when it's convenient for him. Just like the many times he's made fun of the trauma of others while speaking at great length about the trauma brought on by watching his own girlfriend getting fucked in front of him at a sex party.
You're mentally ill, you're struggling, navigating pleasure and joy with trauma and guilt. Come on, bro. Bruh. I don't know, yo, I'm just not, and my girl's right here and she's like, and I'm like, oh, yo, I'm like feeling traumatic thoughts, like seeing her with another person. It's a lot.
I don't want you to reopen this obvious wound, but like, what does that feel like?
Nah, it's okay. It felt like somebody was like taking something from me. Like someone was violating my property. That's what it felt like. I felt like getting robbed like right in front of me. Like that's what it, yeah, it's like, I don't want it. Why am I looking? I don't take any enjoyment from that. You're 18 in trauma? What, you didn't go to war?
It's almost like he has no backbone, no concrete set of principles, and absolutely refuses to take accountability under any and all circumstances. Anytime he has the opportunity to apologize, he just doubles down. But actually, it's the women who can't take accountability, right?
Men go to jail for this Women are not ever held responsible for what they do in relationships. They're always the victim.
So women aren't held accountable at all, or?
No, they're not.
I think they should be. I don't think they are.
They should be, but they're not, and they don't want to be. They like it.
Are as much as men are.
Thank you for being honest, though.
Sneako prides himself on standing up to what he considers social programming, opposing all the soy boys, cucks, and bots who want everyone to remain the same, by shaming and belittling everyone who disagrees with his worldview.
Just staple this in your mind as exactly what not to be. This is what happens when you listen to the liberal brainwashing too much. You look like this goofy ass idiot.
Yeah. I see you have a bunch of those stuffed animals.
Well, wait, hold on.
That guy has nail polish on it, like, and it's like that. Of course you do.
Framing his idea of masculinity as the only objectively correct one, making anything else worthy of bullying.
Bring bullying back. Bullying is necessary, or else you turn into this dude.
A little bit of bullying is necessary. Chad, I just want to bully this guy. Like,
I know I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but even I can see the staggering level of cognitive dissonance at play here. How can you possibly hope to guide young men out of the matrix by forcing them to adhere to such a specific set of principles that only you deem appropriate? You're not as deep as you're pretending to be. You're not helping anyone escape anything. You're turning people into more active participants of the system you so vigorously claim to oppose. Don't tell me you care about male loneliness or men's mental health when all you really want to do is reinforce the very traditions and gender norms that have kept them down to begin with. Regressing society back to the 50s and advocating for such a narrow, limited view of masculinity is hardly the liberation from an oppressive hierarchy you think it is. But that's not what matters. All that really matters is being able to convey the idea of enlightenment. If you can convince enough desperate people that you're the only one who can help save them from a shitty existence, congratulations, you now have an army of religious zealots feeding out the palm of your hand. An infinite money glitch that Andrew Tate cracked long ago, and one that Sneako has been sure to exploit in a similar way, opening up a $50 course of his own with the Creativity Kit.
You're calling it a scam because I can make money off of this. That's not a scam, that's business. Stupid multi-level marketing scheme. You just heard another YouTuber, a soy boy, say that, and you're echoing it online. F***ing idiot.
When we visit the official website, we're greeted with a video message from Sneako under text that reads, "After 9 years on YouTube, gaining over 2 million subscribers and getting canceled weekly, period, I've figured out the formula for anyone to go viral and make money from social media." So it's a course on how to turn a profit online. How profound. Pretty much the exact mission statement of Hustlers University, except Sneako has only a fraction of Andrew Tate's resume. At the very least, with Hustlers University, fans could look to Tate's credentials as a millionaire who traveled the world as a champion kickboxer as some kind of justification for why they were dropping so much money on a Discord server. Andrew Tate had material success to his name, at the very least. Sneako, on the other hand, doesn't have near the kind of money or popularity to justify such a hefty entrance fee. He's just a guy who spent a decade grinding it out on YouTube before finally blowing up at a time when it became profitable to hate women.
Maybe you're afraid to say because you don't want to get canceled, but bro, I hate the shit out of women, bro. Women are so fucking annoying.
There's no secret there at all. Sneako's success can be learned and mimicked for free. Much like Hustlers University, the Creativity Kit has been criticized by those who have tried it as being shallow and unnecessary. And much like HU, a lot of it isn't even taught by the man himself, with Sneako's editor apparently taking the reins throughout a large chunk of the program. And when Sneako does show up, it's to either spew the most basic advice imaginable or brag about meeting up with a crypto millionaire in Puerto Rico.
I'm about to fly to Puerto Rico and meet up with this crypto multi-millionaire. A lot of people are impressed by the fact that I'm able to talk so fast because I'm challenging people. I'm making people think. It's creative, it's different, it's always changing, and that's why people like it.
So basically, just like all of his content from the past year and a half, it's vapid and useless. And that's if you can even get it to work.
I can't watch these videos because my internet is bad despite having 100 megabits per second download, and so I cannot gain any value out of them. I've asked everyone all the way up to Musa for a refund, and the response I got was surprisingly rude and unhelpful. So I was forced to file a claim through my bank. You guys don't unplug kids from the Matrix, you just plug them into your own Matrix. And you know what happened? Post got removed. The post got removed. Sneako's product, Sneako server, Sneako team can't be censoring people who are going against their views. That can't be the case.
So if you can't access the course itself, that leaves you with a Discord server where most people just repost Sneako's content. At least according to YouTuber Dantavius, who tried it out for himself.
But one thing I noticed about Sneako's server is that a lot of people are just reposting Sneako's content. It's not exactly what I would call creative.
And if you're wondering why so many positive reviews seem to exist out there, it could have something to do with a little something called affiliate marketing. Something I don't think Sneako would have even heard of until his daddy Tate came along to hold his hand. You join the program, paste a little link in your bio, and suddenly you've made $5, although the rest of it went to Sneako, so he sure is good at putting himself at the top of the matrix he wants you to escape. In fact, he wants it so bad, he'll even break FTC guidelines to push his course further.
They're doing a giveaway in which they're giving 2 lucky members 2 free months of Creativity Kit access if they leave a review for the course. By the way, I'm pretty sure it's illegal. I'm pretty sure the people leaving these reviews are required by law to disclose that they left the review as part of a giveaway. It doesn't display the entire review, only the rating, so it's impossible to disclose that certain reviews have been part of a giveaway or a sweepstakes. It's essentially false advertising.
But I think we all understand his desperation. Sneako was hoping to make a fortune before the inevitable happened. As he saw with Tate, YouTube can bring the hammer down at any given moment, especially when you're flying as close to the sun as he was. Sneako knew a ban could have been right around the corner, but even with the knives this close to his throat, the last thing he was gonna do was back down.
You try getting rid of me, and I'm still here. They really thought they could ban me. I don't care. I do care, but I'm still here. Hey, yo, you remember when they wanted to ban me? You remember when they wanted to ban me? You remember when these pussies put on their Harry Potter glasses and said, "Ma, can you please ban Sneako?" And it didn't work? They can't stop me. They can't stop me, man. They want me to stop. They want me to stop going. They want me to kill all my... They want me to stop making money. They don't want me to do nothing. They want me to sit there and cry and be like them. Take an antidepressant, go to therapy. I'm still here. Suck my...
As recent as this past September, Sneako had accumulated a total of 2 community guideline strikes on his Sneako channel. Although I'm not sure which 2 videos could have done it, between Why a Man Can't Become a Woman, Sneako vs. Traumatized Woman Part 2, Why Whales Think They're Queens, and LGBTQ is hypocritical and kind of gross, Sneako was almost asking to get hit. After all, he had been cozying up to right-leaning ideas and personalities for a little while, introducing his once non-political audience of kids to the likes of dog whistler Tucker Carlson and self-admitted fascist creep Matt Walsh, with Sneako reacting to his transphobic documentary What is a Woman live on stream, making sure to give it a ringing endorsement and at least 3 separate uploads, I guess. For a guy who hates repetitive content, he's sure, I mean, you get the idea. But perhaps the most dangerous examples of Sneako's pandering came from his friendship with racist, unironic neo-Nazi Nicholas J. Fuentes. In case you're a normal person with a life outside of the internet and have never heard of Nick Fuentes, allow me to ruin your day.
What, people calling me gay because I've never had a girlfriend?
Nick Fuentes is an extremely far-right, white supremacist Christian nationalist who lurks among the most sexist caverns of the internet, spewing racist, anti-Semitic propaganda for the most touch-starved, social outcast losers on the planet. He opposes women's right to vote and dabbles in Holocaust denialism. He attended the Charlottesville Nazi rally and spoke before the January 6th Capitol attack. He's compared himself to Hitler and has been placed on a federal no-fly list. This is a man Sneako considers to be, quote, autistic level smart, and appreciates Fuentes for inspiring fast-paced, high-level conversations, in his own words.
I think Destiny and Nick Fuentes are like autistic level smart. I like those fast-paced, high-level conversations.
The same pipeline that me and Fuentes are going down, talking about bots and red pill and about who owns the banks and about who controls media.
He's like a Nazi, right?
No, he's a white nationalist. He's not a Nazi.
Somewhere along Sneako's red pill transformation, he was introduced to Fuentes, and quickly took a liking to the man before bringing him on stream to indoctrinate his young fans with anti-Semitism.
And so you look at the Biden administration, and his cabinet is full of Jewish people. You look at big tech and legacy media, and the people that run them, it's full of Jewish people. Hollywood, full of Jewish people. And you can't
control
talk
the media,
about
they control the money. Yeah. But in GTA, Jews control the media and the money.
all the villagers in Minecraft.
Vomiting purely hateful conspiracies to an audience with zero rebuttal from Sneako. To Fuentes, Sneako was nothing more than a useful idiot, taking advantage of his hospitality to spread dangerous, incendiary language amongst a brand new and particularly impressionable demographic.
And then you got average IQ. That's another one of these so-called red pills, is that, you know, different groups have different IQs. So on average, Chinese people have the highest IQ, white people have a high IQ.
You're saying Haitians have the lowest, like Hispanics and blacks have the lowest IQs?
Yeah, blacks are the lowest on average, and Hispanics.
Wow.
On average. That's true though.
Wow. I mean, if you have, send me a study about that.
Sneako sat there slack-jawed like a mouth-breathing sheep as a terrorist freely got to claim that Jewish people control all the money in the world. Africa is poor because black people genetically have lower IQ and that these differences come from evolution. All insane and absolutely false garbage, citing all kinds of bullshit studies and blatantly misrepresenting data while Sneako refutes nothing.
And I was saying that I'm against race mixing. I think that people should marry their own kind. My race matters to me. My identity matters to me. I want my kids to look like me. I want my grandkids to look like me.
It's embarrassing and sad to watch a man who was once admired for his thoughtfulness and tact be absolutely walked all over and used by an anti-Semite who has only the worst intentions for Sneako and his fans in mind.
You don't have a lot of original thoughts because the hat on your head dictates what you think for the most part. Go back to synagogue. Stop trying to fucking be a YouTuber, bro.
Go back to synagogue, stop trying to be a YouTuber. What the fuck, bro?
These later streams suggest a dark endpoint for Sneako's reputation and career as we once knew it. While he continued to celebrate his place on YouTube, even after the numerous attempts by other YouTubers to get him banned, Sneako's channels were finally removed the morning of October 3rd, 2022. Whether due to his comments about Chad, videos made to attack and delegitimize disenfranchised groups, or his newfound love for neo-Nazis, Sneako's repeated violations of YouTube's guidelines was always bound to catch up to him, with the platform's decision marking one final depressing chapter in Sneako's long, unfortunate character arc.
They can do whatever they want. So if they want me gone, I'm just gone. That's just how it works. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit bummed out. I cannot show up on the emergency meeting later tonight. I was supposed to do the emergency meeting on TateSpeaks on Rumble. The reason I can't go on the emergency meeting, I'm a risk. I'm a risk to have on. I was talking to Andrew for a long time last night. That dude is saying I'm a risk. It'll be Justin Waller, Andrew, and Fresh and Fit. And not me.
The story of Sneako is a masterclass in what can happen when you let the wrong people influence you. Although Sneako may claim over and over that he's always been like this, saying the same stuff forever may not be the humble brag he thinks it is. It's normal for your ideas and worldview to grow and change with you. In fact, being able to look back on your past self and cringe is one of the best feelings in the world because it means you matured. In the case of Sneako, it seems only his worst opinions are the ones to have followed him throughout the years, with his takes on women and feminism being the most particularly consistent, only getting less charitable once it became profitable to say such things. No matter how he cuts it, Sneako knows he benefited from a growing trend of hating women and becoming more reactionary online, abandoning whatever sense of decency he once had in exchange for instant success. Sneako's biggest problem, though, is that over the course of this journey, he managed to abandon everything that once defined him in a positive way. He lost his ability to reflect inwards, unable to show that familiar sense of self-awareness his previous fans once subscribed for. He made a conscious effort to trade thoughtfulness for petty bickering and controversy because that's what people wanted to see. His original mission statement went from seek truth through funny to seek validation through ignorance. By becoming this dense shell of the man he once was, years, he gained an entirely new audience to go along with this brand new persona. One that he can now only embody over on third-party platforms, which attract the worst kind of people imaginable. I don't think anyone should have sympathy either. Ignorance at that level is nothing but a choice. Sneako made up his mind on who he wanted to attract with the message he put forward. And all I can say now is I hope it was worth it.
The thing is, no one has really seen this side of me to the fullest extent except for my family. I know how much of a prick I look like when I go full out, so this side of me is never revealed in public. It stays in the comforts of my home where people are forced to accept me. But over time I've seen how much people hate being around someone who consistently thinks he's right and won't stop until he is, so I mostly keep it to myself. Right now it's in full swing, but in 5 years I hope it'll be gone. I piss even myself off sometimes. When you see rappers or basketball players who think they're the most important and special people in the world because children give them their endless, overwhelming fanboy support, that's what I feel like all the time. I think I'm so special and better than everyone else because I think I'm smarter. Just picture how narcissistic that is. This side of me is my alter ego, and he's named the Sneako.
Keep on, keep on.